Hi, so a few people have asked me to do this video. I'm a home educating mother who has a 5 and a 7-year-old. They've always been home educated. They've never gone to school. And now that a lot of parents are sort of forced into homeschooling at the moment with coronavirus, I guess people are a bit unsure about how to go about things. And this video is just to have a little chat about some things to think about, some concepts that might help, or just little tips to try and help keep everybody calm. So first off, parents have a choice at the moment. I guess if they've been sent something from the school, they can choose if they want to continue on with assignments that are being sent to them, or they might like to consider some other approaches that they now have an opportunity to do at home, a little bit different from school. So if parents go with the first choice and they want to stick with something they've been sent or continue on with a lot of worksheets or school books that they might have been given, the important thing to first off know is that you don't need to be intimidated that you're not their teacher, because in fact as their parent you are the biggest expert on your child, and your child is the biggest expert on their own learning styles, their own strengths, and where they are challenged. So you guys are actually the best equipped, to carry on learning at home, and don't be intimidated by that at all. Next thing that's worth considering is that although your child might normally go to school from 9 o'clock till lunchtime or later on in the day, depending on the age of your child in primary school education, only about 2 hours of that is actual solid work. Teachers have a really hard job. They have to think about classroom management. It takes a lot of time to move from one activity to another. They might have to, be really careful with their instructions, repeat certain things, or just even the dynamics of a classroom and different things that will go on. So don't feel like you need to sit down at 9 o'clock and keep working until after lunchtime. Also, from home educating side of things, it's quite clear once you get into the swing of it that once a child has the attention of an adult that they can ask questions to for 2 hours in a day, that is more than sufficient for that child to learn everything that they need to know. Another thing to bear in mind is that as we have a lot of maybe different dynamics going on, like siblings mightn't be used to spending as much time together, maybe a lot of the things that they used to go outside of the home to do have been taken away, and parents might be working at home, and so it's this new environment for everyone together, and they might be hearing the news. Parents might have tensions because of the different things that are going on now with the virus, or working at home, or thinking about loved ones. So it's worth bearing in mind that you don't want to bring any new stressful dynamics, and the best way to do that is to not make education a battleground. It is not necessary. So in any way, once you've made your choice of what path you want to take, whether it's the schoolwork or considering different things, then put all of the rest of the decisions in their hands. Allow your children to make choices for when they would like to do things, where they would like to do things, what order they'd like to do things in. How can they use their learning styles to, learn certain things or get through certain work? So an example of that would be, okay, what order would you like to do this work from your teacher? And, do you want to do this maths sitting here in the kitchen? Would you be more comfortable if we were inside and you can lay out your Legos to help you do the maths? Things like that will really make a difference, and they'll be more eager to do things on their own terms, and no one needs to have more tension or upset. And a child that is happily doing something will get through something quite quickly. A child that's forced to do something for the same task could take hours to do. Parents may be familiar with this. If a child comes home with homework, if everyone's had a long day, they're tired, there's stuff that needs to go on in the home, whether it's housework or preparing dinner, getting ready for the next school day. There's a lot going on, and if that child is made to sit down right then and have to do that work quick, it can cause an awful lot of strain that isn't actually necessary. So another thing that's sort of in the same vein as that is the fact that the luxury of home education is flexibility. That's one of the key things. So if your child is feeling quite tired or feeling unhappy at a particular point of day, like they can have a break. They can choose a fresh activity. They can go out in the garden. Like letting something go at a particular time is not giving up on it. They can come back to it at a time where, rather than it taking an hour for an upset child to get through a piece of work, they can fly through it when they're actually best able to do it. If we think about ourselves as adults and how we might get through work or how we prefer to do things, it'll be quite easy for us all to use common sense and to find the best path for our family. Every child and every family is unique, so take advantage of this flexibility to do things that are best going to suit you and your children. Now, on the flip side of things, if you are interested in maybe taking a different approach, now you have the opportunity. One of the things worth thinking about is that a child that is self-directed or self-motivated is really going to take on lessons or anything, any sort of life lessons. They're going to take it on board a lot better. That's going to sink in, and they're going to be enjoying themselves while they're doing it. So examples of that in everyday life could be, if your child, is missing their friends, they can, borrow your phone or with your supervision, and they can be sending messages to their pals from primary school. Like you can do that through parents, or they can be writing letters to their grandparents. These sort of things that they might be quite keen to do. They're practicing their spelling, they're practicing their writing. If you want to prepare a shop that you're going to order online while you're stuck in at home, maybe you can involve them. And while they are going through the list on the website, they're reading. Before that, you could have asked them, will they make a shopping list? Will they go through the house and see what we need? And the children can be writing that down. There's so many things in life where they're using their skills or they're practicing their skills, and they are developing without even realizing it. And things don't always need to be like assignments for the children to actually get huge amounts of education out of it. My daughter at the moment is obsessed with Harry Potter. Last night she just finished Order of the Phoenix. She wanted to watch the movie this morning. As soon as the movie ended, she wanted to watch how the film was made. And once she'd seen that, she decided she was going to make her own little script. She was going to set up her own little scenes in the living room. So she wrote something out. She did pictures. She had, made all of her props. She'd set everything up. So in that, she was, planning ahead. She was writing. So not only was she practicing, things that, might normally be in an English lesson, she was also doing her handwriting. She was being creative with her props. And all of this was through play. There's so much to be learned through play. Legos are another great thing for, doing simple maths or Monopoly. Any board games you have in the house, you probably don't realize the resources that are available to you everywhere. When you're playing Monopoly, if you have very small children, any board games like that, when they're counting or adding things along, same with card games. With older children, if they're, managing the bank, managing their money, their rents in Monopoly, all these things, they're practicing so many skills. And, all of this is through fun. Other things you can consider is just letting them really pursue their interests. Again, like the Harry Potter example, if they're really keen on something and they want to learn as much as they can about that, that is going to involve so many things for their development. And, if a child is getting the opportunity to read a book that they love or a magazine they love or read a website, that's of interest to them, they're still reading. It doesn't need to be the assigned text or the assigned English book, that comes home from the school. Some children, go into school and they just love school. It's a really enjoyable experience for them. Other children in certain subjects, it mightn't appeal to them. So their English reader might be the most boring thing alive and they detest it. Yet, if you give them, a book about dogs or a book about superheroes, like a superhero comic or anything like that, they'll happily sit, and read and pursue what they love. And, other ways, to involve media or websites can make, so much. I guess it's just a different way. It's just fun. Learning is life and learning is fun. It doesn't need to feel like it's following a set program. Schools, they have a really hard job to do, and they have, 30 children in a class. They want to get across a certain message, and it's one way that they have to communicate that, and same goes for every child. Whereas at home, you don't need to do that. And there's so many resources online. There's so many games that they can play online for learning languages. There's, so many apps, for reading or maths. And fortunately, a huge amount of those things that would normally have subscriptions or cost, certain fees are actually free at the moment, because all of these places, I guess, are trying to promote themselves and help all of these families that are now home educating, even though they didn't plan to. So you have websites like Twinkle, for example, who although those are a lot of worksheets, so they will be quite, school-based things, but there are countless websites and countless apps that you can use. My children love Reading Eggs and Math Seeds. These things also normally have a free month's trial. So, we don't know how long we're going to be stuck inside, but if it does last a month, then all of these things are going to be free to you. So, have a look out there online, pursue options. It'll be easy to find them. They'll be trying to promote themselves. YouTube is another amazing one. There's always going to be videos. And if your child ever asks you something, we have this amazing resource in Google and the internet. Any question your child asks, even if you're not sure, even if you've no clue, you can go to Google, you can go to YouTube, and they can learn about something, learn how to do something, or find the answer. So don't be afraid, don't be nervous, and think that your child is unique and your family is completely unique. So you get to choose what way you'd like to do this, and the more it's coming from your children, the more self-directed it is, or intrinsically motivated it is, the better, the more they will learn and the more relaxed it will be. And you don't need to think about getting this right, straight out of the jump. There is no right, and if you try something and it's not really working for you guys, well, then you have the flexibility to change it up and just take one day at a time. The most important thing right now is that everybody is happy and healthy and staying sane all together. So be kind to yourself, be easy on yourself, and the more you can let them lead the way, the better. Okay. Good luck.